was like Snoop Doggy Dogg, you would go as Steve Cooley Cool. Was that ever on the table?
If the midlife crisis ever comes and I won't buy like a Camaro or whatever cars,
I think
I
you
ever
need
tell you a story about when we went in the car dealership and the Kia dealership. I was looking for something, and the guy pointed me to the sports car, and he hit me with every midlife crisis going through. And my wife is right there.
Yeah.
Like he's burying that. He's acting like I'm a single guy going out looking for fucking girls at 47 or 46 or whatever it was. It was like, dude, this is everything I've ever seen in a movie or TV show. These people really exist.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, like coast to coast from butter and toast. When I get a Ferrari, it's right out the door. Right? So
it was brutal.
Yeah, man. That I hate that experience too.
That's why CarMax and Carvana, even though they overcharge, people don't want to deal with these people.
Right.
They'd rather pay.
Yep. And you will. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, Reverend Smiley, that was just a good you got your heat there. I mean, you got your shit in just for that one question. That stopped me dead in my tracks. I had to sell for it because I had some great time in the woods, using the grunt and bleat call, and right after first snow, right in the beginning of the rut, and called 5 into me, and I was feeling like a true assassin. I couldn't put a horn on any of them. I could have put one right through their eye, Mo Green style, no doubt about it, from 25 yards away with the 308 dialed right in. I could fucking tack a nail with that thing, dude. And, it's just like, shit, I'm not going to do that where, I'm poaching and taking off somebody else's herd. I play, I get my heat and I cheat a lot, but when it comes to respecting nature, I play by the rules, and I play above boards, actually, even whatever needs to be done to help an ecosystem. So yeah, man, it's tough, but hopefully, you never know, maybe this afternoon I might get out for afternoon watch. Outlook not so good, but I'm going to try and do my best. But that's a sacrifice to be, a boss and a wrestler, and you're losing your weekends, and you're just at it. I'm at it from 6:30 in the morning till 12:30 the next day, the last 3 days, nonstop. And I wouldn't trade it for anything to get to swing swords with Big Stevie Cool, my Conspiracy Horseman brothers, to open up the learning tree for the young producers I got here, Joe Jan and MSG, to get to go sit there and talk face to face with one of my creative heroes, Vince Russo. Stack that against hunting. I've done a lot of hunting already too, man. It's living in the moment and being appreciative of what's going on around you while it's happening, instead of looking back with hindsight 2020 going, holy shit, that was crazy. I'm sure I'll still do that, but as much as you getting your shit in on the deer stop me, that also made me think and be thankful for what has happened in the last 72 hours.
We are kind of doing some form of hunting over the past week or two.
That's true, man. Always hunting for the truth.
The game are a lot fatter and slower than the deer.
Yeah, but they're more coy too. They stick their heads out, but it's tough. You can't get them with a rifle from far away. You got to get right up on them.
Yeah, there's no catering for the deer to stir shit either.
That's true. That's true, man. I wish there was. I'd set up a big fucking table in the middle of the woods. Nobody wants to see a sword fight. Brock Lesnar hunts. Hunts my hamster. Okay, I guess. Brock Lesnar, master killer as well. He's got to get that double wide tree stand. That's got to just be a funny visual. Him going up a ladder into the tree stand, or you're coming through the woods and look up there and Brock Lesnar sitting up in the fucking tree stand. Oh shit, man. So how you doing this morning? I was pumped to see the video or the first pictures of the moon camera set up from 5 a.m. this morning out there, trying to get her dialed in already, huh?
Yeah, we did it. We just basically turned it on and did it. We need to change some settings. I looked at some videos after the fact, but I think we got some decent shots, got some video. Stuff doesn't add up already. Looking at close up to the moon.
Really?
This thing is 240,000 miles or 238,000 miles away, and I'm getting up to like a crater with the previous gen Nikon zoom camera, not even the current one, the one that's like 5 years old or something.
Were you blown away? Were you like, oh my God?
Not on the screen's a low res screen. It's 1080p screen on the display.
Yeah.
And one of the cameras, like the A65, every DSLR does it. Like they'll take the picture, then it kind of does a little bit of processing for a second.
Yeah.
When you look at it there, it's whatever. But when I looked at it through the electronic viewfinder where I put my eye in, I was like, wow, that's pretty good. And when I put it on a 5K display later on and look at it, I'm trying to figure out how to present it. I think I'm just going to say, hey, this initial test of the P900, and I'm going to voice over some of the stuff. Also, I was looking up that it was a waning crescent moon, and the amount of illumination, the percentage, at least these little facts that I think could make the videos stand out a little bit. And then I'll cover it in the podcast
Yeah, just to
Sunday.
say
And
questions why. That could lead us to some great professionals who might have explanations that will obviously lead to more questions. I just sent you this girl's Facebook profile. I don't want to dox her on there because she's a friend of a friend, but she is got a little pseudo celebrity because of the photo she's taken. But she does all those moon photos that I've showed you before with the high res.
yeah,
That's her. So I don't know if you just want to add her. I can send her a message so it's not like, hey, this guy's at me, but get a little discussion going of maybe there's some tricks and tips right out of the gate that the learning curve can be lessened and we can get even cooler stuff.
well, she just answered a question from the Horseman last night.
Oh, did she?
It was a picture that was put up November 19th. Other immunities. Actually, there's immunities for the royal household. The monarch is immune from arrest in all cases. Members of the royal household are immune. God, I gotta get it right. From arrest in civil proceedings. No arrest can be made in the monarch's presence or within the verges of the royal palace. When a royal palace is used as a residence, regardless of whether the monarch is actually living there at the time, judicial processes cannot be executed,
dude. It's
within that
a
palace.
tag free zone. Like, oh, it can't get me free, home free. And and then they have to go back out and wait for you to go back out and sneak out again. We'll try and get him on a sting this time, dude. No, I'm back to the palace, home free at the monarch. That's exactly.
No, if it's just like if I use the address and I live here, it doesn't matter. It's like you're trying to get cheaper insurance if you know what I mean? Here, listen to this. The monarch's goods cannot be taken under a writ of execution, nor can distress be levied on the land in their possession. Chattels owned by the crown but present on another's land cannot be taken in execution or for distress. The crown is not subject to foreclosure.
Says who?
Let me see what it's a Wikipedia thing. Even if there is irrefutable evidence, they wouldn't be able to prosecute Prince Andrew. And then she's right in line with being like with the Horseman on this stuff.
Oh yeah, that's where we kind of came together because a mutual friend of mine, Jay, who's the drone photographer in Buffalo.
Oh, the one it's Drone 716.
Yeah, Drone 716 photography. You guys should check his shit out. Unbelievable. Tell him Hamin sent you. Just Jay, I send him stuff all the time because I feel my biggest design flaw is font choices. And Jay's a master of it. And then he's great at photography and graphic design. I've known him. We were in Random Acts Fredonia together. He's an incredible musician as well. But 716 photography, especially if you know somebody from Buffalo or you just want to see some unbelievable photos that Jay does, it's great. But that's where I knew her from because Jay can get into it politically on both sides as well. So that's we've kind of
the worst at fonts too, by the way. I wish it's got to be a fucking switch or something.
It is, dude. I mean, I can identify and see good things and I can get above basics, but sometimes I get too close to it. I'm like, Jay, please tell me what to do. And he does in like 2 seconds, he fixes it. So he's just got one of those great artistic minds, man. And I think he's single, ladies, and devilishly handsome. Well,
if Jen is single, then it can be a match made in heaven.
I think that happened before.
Oh, well, there we go.
That's why I think they stay friends, but it just wasn't meant to be.
Turn into like a Noel and Vito show now.
Right. But yeah, man, I would try and add her because I think she definitely has just some awesome stuff that you'd like to see image wise. And I'd be like, oh, let me focus on this.
Yeah, she does a lot of nature and landscape photography. And of course, she was talking about Mercury. She couldn't get the pictures, but she was telling people. What I was going to say, what happened to Noel and Vito haven't been on Vince's thing in a long time, right?
Right. Yeah. I don't know if they're just not recording stuff. I mean, when they come on or do something, I try and retweet everybody. You know, what's that hurt for everybody to do good business for each other? But yeah, they went on some trips, but then I don't know if it was her or it was Francine that she needed to catch up on some podcasts and stuff like that. Wasn't feeling well. So I don't know, man. You know, with Vito, sometimes he presses that button a little too hard. And maybe Vince and him just were like, let's take a break. I'm just hypothetical speaking.
I
I
know
don't
their
know.
MacBook broke, but it was fixed. They were off and then they were on. Oh well.
Yeah, she's got a
So
good following, man. I think, you know, that I was thinking about earlier because, you know, I'm so worried about people getting burnt out, but you are doing so much great content creation and now it's paying off with some of the people we've been in contact with for digital editing, and whatnot with, I always want to call it Spotify. What is it?
Switcher Studio.
Switcher Studio, and, you know, other things that are starting to possibly figure into that. And now, you know, that we can just create incredible content. I don't feel like I'm getting burnt out when I said that earlier today. Like, think how much we've done just since Tuesday. But I feel like pretty invigorated right now and not like, oh shit, I got to do this, edit this tonight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like everything's kind of trucking along creatively, and is, even though I'm on about 2 hours sleep the last 3 days, I'm not too worried about it right now.
I think we caught our second wind. I think going live with the Raw SmackDown review at 8 o'clock instead of after watching 2 hours and immediately going to that makes a big difference. I'm back. By the way, the good segue for time. I'm still not sure about building this PC and switching over and DaVinci Resolve, and I don't want to pay an extra grand just to have an iMac that has a less powerful brain. You see where I'm at now? And then I got
Yeah.
the thing that the holdup for me is the monitor. Like, of all things, I'm like, you thought the computer's the easy part. Trying to pick the right monitor to edit on, to do photos, and maybe a little bit of gaming. Dude, you have to have 3 different monitors sometimes for that. It's crazy. So
Yeah, I got
I'm
the
gonna have to bite the bullet because this iMac is starting to be long in the tooth. But I think I might have a Hackintosh routing, but I don't trust it either. I don't want to power on the computer 5 minutes before we're supposed to record, and I got a kernel panic and I can't do it. That it doesn't matter how much money you save then if you can't do your job.
Right.
So I'm done.
Yeah, it's got to be a side project to get it there, the frustration. But Stevie, you're so stupid. I mean, Tesla got everything he did right the first time out of the gate. He never had to go back to the drawing board ever again. Why can't you do that, Stevie?
I know. I need to consult with the people who counted the correct number of people that Clinton killed, along with the people that said the thing with Cornette's not a big deal because it was taped weeks ago.
Right. we'll definitely get through all that. The conspiracy comes to pass.
Time for your rap now.
You heard other raps before, Stevie, but you keep waiting for the sun of song. I keep dance all strong. Beats never worthy of my cause. I prolong. We prolonged it long enough, man. I think we got to get to the copy so we can get in and out here. Appreciate you guys hanging with us. 21 strong here at twitch.tv/conspiracy horseman on the Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Thursday recording of your Friday Locker Room podcast. That's fun to say. Oh, words and words and more words. The words that will get you in trouble, the words you can't say, those 7 little words, the context of words that will piss off and come back to make you tweet, apologize, dive, repeat, get you heat, and get you removed from your seat. Stevie, are you ready to do this copy, brother?
I'm ready. Is this the theme now that everybody got caught saying something stupid?
Pretty much. We'll start with CM Punk drops a pipe bomb on actor Tom Arnold and Seth Rollins. Every week on WWE Backstage, and the panel ends the show with what they call the social media smackdown, responding to negative social media comments with fired up promos. Given that Tuesday night show saw the official debut of CM Punk, it only made sense to leave the people wanting their first pipe bomb in 6 years. It all started when the panel revealed a tweet sent by Tom Arnold claiming he could probably take him in a fight despite his night blindness. Who the hell is Tom Arnold? I can hear everyone under the age of 35, about 35, asking in unison. The comedian and actor is professionally known best for his role in True Lies or The Stupids, but it's more likely you've heard of him because he used to be married to Roseanne Barr. Here's the thing, though. He was also recently on Trailer Park Boys with Snoop Dogg as well. So here's the thing, though. Punk wasn't just speaking to Mr. Arnold when he fired back, telling him to go search for relevancy. Go search for relevancy somewhere else. He was sending a message to Seth Rollins earlier in the night. The straight edge superstar responded to Rollins calling him out on Twitter, looking for a fight. Check out the footage of Punk delivering another classic pipe bomb promo below.
All right, so we got some tweets here. See, people are loving you, Punk. Look at this. Let's go.
Unscripted Renee Young.
Crying. Best in the world.
That's a good
We
one.
love. That's a lot of exclamation points. CM Punk letting him have it. Go. He's a goat.
Whatever.
Okay, what seventh level of hell did I die and now reside in, where every day of my life now is just, oh, Tom Arnold is making fun of you. Oh, Seth Rollins is tweeting you. Like, I don't want this. I didn't ask for any of this, and you shouldn't ask for this either, Tom. I mean, Jesus Christ. If I wanted from you, I'd scrape your tongue.
Yes!
You have a tattoo of Roseanne Barr on your chest that you covered up with a tattoo of Stephen King. And this is coming from somebody who has a tattoo of ramen. All right? You lose the stupid tattoo contest just like you would lose the promo contest. And I don't care if I'm 150 pounds, if I'm 200 pounds, you couldn't take me bowling. So take your fake Cubs fan, LA Dodgers hat wearing ass and get out of here before I throw you out.
Renee's the worst, man.
Go search for relevancy somewhere else, Seth. I mean, Tom.
What is the Renee Young rate? You ever see? I mentioned it on Russo. The Molly Karam on First Take, who always interrupts or always injects the reaction. I think it breaks up the entire rhythm. Don't you?
Well, now that's a whole nother discussion of why women aren't funny, isn't it? Because they don't know timing. They just did a whole Always Sunny in Philly episode on that and this season, and it's been a long-standing argument of why women shut up when they're in the middle of the bit. Like, there's a lot of misogyny and bullshit to that, but there's also some, what we talked about last night, in frequency. Maybe men and women's timings are that different frequency too, and we are tuned to hit the joke and hit the wah, 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 and the girls are always chasing it, and you can always feel when they are in the ring, in comedy.
Well, that was an example, I guess, right?
It was. And then at the end, they're just marking out with Paige trying to do the world star with like the dudes like, oh, Sundom, oh. And it's so white girl stupid and phony as they jump around. It was a good promo. It was awesome, but they're so see-through, those two. It's just ridiculous.
Well, when you're going to have a pipe, they've had these things every week on the show where she did the Fox Money thing and she got fired. And,
yeah,
I'm going to do this.
Yeah,
I don't know who
world star and people, this little thin-lipped white girl, like anybody's going to fucking put that over.
But who's producing this? Who's producing these segments of the promo battles and somebody watching Lip Sync Battle and saying, let's do promo battle? These segments are terrible.
It's somebody at Fox. I wouldn't doubt if Jacob Allman is right there standing off. It's got to be him, executive producing, hands-on, I would believe.
I mean, Punk's the best thing they had, and they still only drew 180,000 people in that episode, the full episode. I mean, he's asking him which one of the Shield guys is your favorite. And, she gives like whatever. Hey, if you're not going to play along and you're not going to say, you know what I mean? Like, oh, I don't think I'm allowed to say it. Come on. I would have pushed her buttons. I would have kept saying, well, what's his name? Give me the name. And like let her score. But you notice like that kind of stuff just shows it's like, it's handcuffed. His thing to an extent is still, I think they're letting him go, but it's produced to an end. The Seth Rollins thing already stinks of an angle that they're going to try to pull off on WWE TV.
100% that they're going the creative push Seth to do that, to goad him into it so he can get a little thing so the internet can talk. And that's not stupid, but it's, and I don't want to say it's cheap heat either. It's just kind of cheesy.
I think it's stupid because on week one,
yeah,
Like, let him bury shit for a good couple months before someone starts like poking him back on live TV, and then he responds on Backstage, and then you still don't have anything. You make people really, really, really want it. Here it's like, okay, they're gonna wrestle. I can just relax now. It'll come. I don't have to fucking.
When have you ever seen them, Seth or any of them, play their business like that in anything?
Well, Punk should have. Punk should. Why don't you just bury the whole product for a while before I even say a person's name?
Sure.
Why isn't Baron? All right, here's the thing. But he buried the Baron Corbin segment with the dog. He buried the Baron Corbin. He didn't bury him personally. But why is Baron Corbin as a heel not tweeting at him? But the babyface Seth Rollins is tweeting at him.
Because Corbin doesn't think he's over enough to do that yet. And there's too much politics that would come down on him backstage to do it. Where Seth, I think, is past that point, or else he's in somebody's camp of one of those 5 or 6 camps, and they're, dude, hit him up. We got to get in on this before somebody else.
We already know which camp that is.
Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah.
You don't think Hunter's directing him to, go Punk so if he's going to be in the ring, he might as well cut his legs out from under him.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't think Hunter will get involved?
Well, that Hunter didn't want him to come back. So Hunter would want to bring him in so Seth can go over on him quick and fucking push him down.
See, Seth Punk falls for it.
Seth goes over on him at Mania, and then Punk versus Austin at Blood Money 7.
But why? Did you say Punk over Seth or Seth over Punk?
Seth over Punk.
Then why have Punk in Austin?
Because it's just a feature draw.
But you know what I mean? I think this is on Fox. This is on USA, so it wouldn't have anything to do with Austin. But man, him and Austin should be going back and forth, talking about that. Like, why don't you come out of retirement or first? Or I don't know, man. It's just, I think they expected an automatic spike and to make an extra $100 million the first week he came back. And
well, they did. They spiked it. What? So if they're at 49,000, they're at 180. That's right. So what's the percentage? Just can't do it in my head.
I'd say 50,000. It's almost 4 times.
Yeah. So I would say 200%, but that's after they went down 88% from their core audience of 480,000. So they'll brought a 200% increase to the show, but they won't say that we lost double that before we went down. We lost 450%, but now we're up 200%. So
well, here's the interesting thing regarding. No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it. Go.
The interesting thing too is, from what I've read, he isn't going to be a weekly person. He's not going to be every single week.
Yeah, well, Ryan Satin can fill the void, I'm sure.
Well, I mean, that only serves him in the positive, because what if it drops back down to 49,000 next week if he's not on the show?
Right.
Or it's like at 180 in the first quarter, and they realize he's not here, drops back down to 49.
Right.
And is Punk worth millions of dollars for 100,000 or so people a week?
I saw that he can do other things except for AEW, MLW TV, things like that. But anything on Fox he can go on to as well. So look for CM Punk on Empire if they have this. CM Punk discusses if he's concerned about upsetting WWE. He says, I'm not concerned about it. I think, honestly, that's the appeal of the job. Punk stated, we're Fox we are going to pay you to come here and be an analyst, and you get to critique the old place you work at. I'm not here to play spoiler, and I'm not here to pour gasoline or anything and set everything on fire. I think deep down, I loved pro wrestling as a kid, and I think it can be better. I always voiced my concerns and criticisms while I worked there, and now I don't work there, and now I can't get in trouble for it. Punk went on to state how he thinks the product could be better. He said, let people breathe. Let people be themselves. Let people be less scripted. If everyone is speaking from one voice and one person's writing the script and the dialogue's all the same from one person, then it's one voice. Imagine having every quarterback in the NFL running the same play every Sunday and every Thursday. I don't like that analogy, but I do like the fact that he's, just saying way over scripted, and it's always in the voice. When you hear coward, he's a coward. Yeah. You know whose voice that is, excrement. Pick up the excrement of the little dog. That's what you're all going to do. Tell him.
What do you I'm trying to wrap my head around the way this is going to play out.
It's all going to play out where Punk can take shots in reality that's going to blow up the internet. And then that will eventually have to trickle over into the bullshit Raw World script to pop the bubble a little bit, where Seth now gets to shoot back at Punk back and forth to build the match, and the reality's injected. I saw this in the chat room, and I didn't say get me hot. I didn't sell for it. But somebody said, I think it was MJ, about Punk pipe bomb and how awesome it is. We need another one. And that pipe bomb wasn't shit to me, really, because it's not like they did give him the mic and he goes out there and sits down. So Aleister Black's gimmick's ruined now that he's back. But he goes and all he got to do was say what everyone else doesn't get to say. Everybody else on the roster feels and knows exactly what he said, but they're sticking to their guns because they're doing the job they're being asked to do with this bullshit creative, which I can't stand up for. But everyone's so shocked and awed of that promo when it was just the basics that every dude in the business knows and talks about in every car ride that we're ever in. So, like, the marks clamoring for that to be the most unbelievable thing of all time, dude. That's just normal talk that he went out there and said. Like, didn't impress me much, to be honest with you. It wasn't like any, Sundom. There was none of that, dude. Like, in my opinion. Plus, I've seen his character deficiencies up close and personal before, so doesn't impress me much. And somebody else also said that Brock Lesnar is stale and not a draw anymore. And when I see that, I'm just like, that's one of the most foolish things I think in statement wise. The guy has unlimited money written on him. It's how you book him. It's the fact that he's not there, that you can have all phony wrestling. He can come in and kill everyone. Totally believable because he can do it. And then go. He doesn't have to cut a promo for you. He doesn't need to be anything. He doesn't need to entertain you. He's a fucking ubermensch genetic freak, and you will bow to his will, not the other way around. That's why will stay over forever, and he will always be a draw. Sorry, Stevie.
No, it's okay. What this does, though, with Punk, with his pipe bombs, and you can only do so many of these pipe bombs. You can't every week do it, or else it'll become white noise. Yes, he's saying everything the fans are thinking. He's saying everything the boys are thinking. But also, doesn't this make everybody else look like a complete pussy on the roster for not saying this?
For not fantasy world right after that. It's like, that was some reality. Now back to fantasy.
Yeah. Let's pretend everything is good. Let's say whatever. Like, yeah, he's saying all that. And then Renee Young's going to do some segment. I haven't watched the whole thing. She'll do some segment where it'll be like, okay, now we're back to working. And now you're back to believing that, I don't know, whatever, whoever is whatever, I can't, right. This is the thing. I don't even know who these people are. Like, if you told me, like, before, Duke the Dumpster Droese, we knew it was a trash man. The gimmick is whatever. Hardcore Holly, hardcore matches, fucking Al Snow, head, the Rock, I know his catchphrase, the eyebrow, Austin, fucking beer, stunner, fucking whatever, in moments. I'm thinking about these people, and I'm just like, what are they? Punk is, even to a degree, he's just a guy who just says what he thinks. But what is CM Punk?
Yeah.
Like, what can I relate to him in a way of what's the catch? What's the thing that's hooking me?
Yeah, you maybe because you don't do drugs and drinks, so you can be
that was a great joke, actually, when I was fucking sitting there, and my wife had heard that. And, straight edge and all this stuff, and people making all this big deal about no drugs and drinking or whatever. And she's like, hey, haven't you been straight edge since 71? Like, yeah, I'm like, yeah. I mean, she's like, straight edge is like, that's cool. You're not doing drugs and you're not fucked up and you're not doing all these things. but my wife was like, do you want a fucking cookie? I mean, is that like such a big deal? And like, of course you're not supposed to be
the original SJW. He's just like the original Chicago made, look at me, I'll tap my body and you'll think of me one way, but oh, I've got a mind fuck on you. I like comic books and I don't do any drugs. Look at me. I'm the gotcha. I'm the Cheshire Cat the whole time. Like that's the whole thing underneath it all, isn't it? Dude, I've been down to 4th Street Live. Here's the stooge. I've been down to 4th Live, the 7, 8 bars, rock bar, country bars, the Irish bar in Louisville. You can drink, go in between them all, right? We're all down there. It's OVW partying. Everyone's got their asshole affliction shirts on and Nike Shocks, Team Over gear, whatever it is they're wearing that year. And and they're down there and everyone's drinking, having a good time. And he's over here wanting to be one of the boys. I can just see the human side of him as I'm looking far away from him. But then he has to start acting drunk to like make fun of people because he can't let his guard down. And it becomes him being straight edge, but like walking around drunk, bumping into people. And like, because he's just like this to show that this scene sucks, but I'm CM Punk and I have to fucking make fun of it. You know what I mean? I got to rib this shit. And like, then people start looking at him on the side because they know he's over and he's on ECW. So you can't fucking be like, dude, stop being a douchebag. Just be your fucking self and enjoy it. That's the real human character flaw of where he kind of is or was in his life. And I don't see that happening. And I think that's a lot of because of the abusive relationship that he was brought up in his family. I'm not, trying to be like, that's why he is a dick. But like, there's reasons for that. And I know all the guys in Chicago who came up with him from Blitz and all that stuff, who he just kind of turned his back on them too. So whether it happened to Cabana now or whatever, there's character flaws. So for me to hold him up on high to be like, whatever, when it comes to doing what we do and promo skills and in ring and and gets it match wise, take nothing away from him whatsoever. But all the Jesus hype to me, bro, is not persona non grata. I see a shell of what a real man is. And that kind of sucks because I was just looking this morning and I see Ace Steel posting a picture, with who was Regal's partner? Johnny Saint.
Dale. Oh, Dave. I thought it was Dave Taylor.
Oh, Dave Taylor. Sorry, Dave Taylor. Yeah. And putting over, I was like, that's fucking awesome. There's two great guys. And I think about Ace and being a mentor to him. And I'm just like, man, it's just too bad that part of how to be a man never got injected into him because that's really what he's missing. And I think that's why he got his motherfucking ass handed to him in UFC twice too. You just got that or you don't got it, no matter how long you're striving for it.
Here's an interesting conspiracy theory. Do you think one of the things that Punk wanted before he came back was to get Ace Steel a job?
Yes. But I think
he deserved it, and he deserves it.
I don't think Ace needs no help there either, man, because Ace went down a couple times to be a guest coach, and anybody who deals with him, Chris Guy, Ace Steel, whatever you want to call him, dude, A+ person, 100%, man. And he's probably been through a lot because he's had to deal with Compton and bringing him up, Cliff Compton, Joey Mercury is in that clique as well. And he's Joey Mercury made the Shield. He made Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Ambrose, and this shit that went down at ROH. So there's a tight-knit core group of guys who all operate at a very high level performance-wise, but they all have their own demons that they battle all the time. And to me, it seems like Ace Steel has never had publicly that I've seen. I'm sure everyone goes through their shit, any of that kind of stuff to do with it. So it's like, man, you know how it is when the heaters in your crew are doing stuff and you're like, come on, let's just let's just calm it down, man. Like,
yeah, it was the straight edge one. It's such a special thing.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Sorry to go off there. I just
no. But this is a great lesson that you said you don't take away anything he's ever done in the ring. You don't take anything away he's ever done in the business or for the business or crossing over into UFC or back. But also, it doesn't deserve unfair addition, unfair hero worship.
Right.
Because once again, your value as a human being is determined by a fake subjective push, which there'd be a lot of arguments that he got a fake subjective push in UFC as well. He didn't have any amateur fights. He had 2 pro fights. He drew money,
Yeah.
but he was pushed. He was put in that spot. He was booked in that spot. It was a feature fight, an attraction.
Yeah.
It was not a legitimate, like, hey, I mean, maybe Dana was hoping, like, hey, man, if he's really a lot better than we think, we could run with this and make some money. Because that was post, like, Conor McGregor getting into trouble, not really drawing as much, going into the boxing. There was a big void. He was pretty desperate at that time to have anybody he could to fill in something.
Yeah.
You
Well,
agree with that?
I totally agree with that completely. And just be coming off ECW to be labeled the Paul Heyman guy, and now Heyman's a one-trick pony and played out completely. He wasn't at that time. He still had some juice. He had that, ECW, hardcore's still with him to give him that, like, yeah, he's our underground guy. This is the guy we're going to get behind. Paul knows all that, and that's why he got his hooks into him too. And Paul, crafted him at OVW when he was there as well. So they had that relationship and used it to the full potential and made a superstar and a merch, machine now, just by wrapping his wrists, which, I could go into story after story where I sat there and I was there for him versus Tony Atlas in the disrespect there, him not shaking hands of certain guys who have a disability, who are locker room guys, and like just character flaws. And it makes me sad to see, like, fuck, this guy's supposed to be on top and could be the beacon and has everything in his wheelhouse that way. But this is who, and this is me as an under guy. Who am I going to fucking say anything? I'm just happy to be invited out with Team Over, him and Cody and them. And like, but I'm a 30-year-old man at that time too, come from a lumberjack, chop wood, carry water background of like, you just don't do shit like that. Like my dad wouldn't give a fuck who CM Punk was. If he saw that shit, he'd grab him by the fucking collar, pull him over in the corner, put a fucking stone hand upside his fucking face and go, if I see you do that shit again, it'll be the fucking last time you do that. You understand me, son? And there wouldn't need to be no more fucking said after that. I don't think anybody's cracked his ass in his life to get him. And that's what he really wants. He wants somebody to correct him that way, like people who have that deficiency.
Let's break down what you just said again. I know there's a whole lot of stuff, but there's so many lessons to be learned for anybody listening who wants to be in the business or currently in the business, or you talk about your producers or other people that might have to deal with people in general. You never know what somebody's been through in their life.
Yeah.
You never know where somebody's been. And also in professional wrestling, where it's very easy to think you're tougher than you really are. It's very easy to think that you're more over because you win fake matches and maybe tougher guys sell for you and let you beat them. It's a really huge false positive. So when you're in the ring, you're in the locker room with a guy like you, 30 years old, been through that background with Punk, has no, I'm not saying he didn't treat you a certain way, but certain guys don't realize that, and they treat you a certain way, or they're looking down on you or condemning, where you can in 50 fights with legit lumberjacks that fucking, you know what I mean, could kill everybody in the wrestling business.
Yes.
So that's what you got to look out for. And then that's saying like you got to like always be scared or keep yourself in check, but you got to be aware. Or maybe somebody has been through, like you talked about it on the Horsemen, or you talk about it on Raw and SmackDown, where you talk about you talk about Raw SmackDown, where you and Kong saw that guy that was holding the one kid who couldn't walk. He had two, the art kid had headphones because you don't want to walk over to that guy who's probably like got 24 hours a day where he doesn't get any sleep taking care of those kids.
Yep.
And he's probably father of the decade for doing that.
Does it with a smile on his fucking face, man.
Yeah.
Says thank you to us for doing that. I'm like, are you kidding me, dude?
Yeah. And probably doesn't have a lot of money, but he'll spend that $20 to take those kids to a wrestling show, which he might only have money to do once a year. I mean, just saying, for example, and you walk by them.
It's like a big ordeal. It's a big ordeal to get those kids even out of the house. You know what I mean? And yeah, not to say Punk would walk by him, but sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's your point, right? There's like that of like,
you're so blinders because guess what? Oh, Bruce Pritchard's fucking with me. Eric Bischoff's fucking with me. Vince won't take a meeting with me for 3 weeks.
Sure.
They're only paying me $750,000 a year, and they're putting me on the road. And my God, I got to work 2 matches on TV tonight. Let's be fucking real.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's people that do real work out there and do real stuff. I'm embracing it now. Like I told you, I want to help my buddy who's a plumber. I'm embracing that because, you know, it's
your humane society work. All that's the humbling thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All of that stuff, dude.
And I don't think I need it. I don't think I need to be too humbled. but this is why wrestling is such a poisonous thing. And I've talked to you off camera. I've talked to Poppin' on to keep you guys in check when that dangerous hope gets into place, because the origin of the hope is extremely low class, scummy, carny, just fucking evil people.
Yep.
And they see that, and it's like the fucking elite with the kids' blood. They just keep eating it up. Like when Vince talked about Stephanie McMahon making Eva Marie cry, and you could see she was just like, I love this. This is so much fun. That's the majority of the fuckers in the business. So going back to the thing with Punk, you know, the boys tend to act like they're a bit more over than they need to be. And life has a lot of people that are getting fucking beat the fucking hell every day. And it's our job to one degree or another to fucking like lift them up and let them know, hey, listen, I just fucking wear underwear and fucking roll around. You're doing some real shit.
Yeah.
You're without you, these kids might be in a fucking home being fucking, you know, mistreated or be dead.
Yeah.
That's a fucking hell of a thing to take on. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
No, you're 100%, dude. And I don't want to be putting little kids' business and shit out there in the streets, but you know, little Hamin, that the kid who did all that, the guy who had him do that was a foster dad who brings him to shows, and I seen him and with like 4 other kids. I just thought, you know, it was his kid or whatever. I don't think any of the kids he brings to shows are his kids, dude. They were all foster kids. And he told me like little dude was having problems, had to go back, you know, and I was like, damn, I didn't even. So like what you said, you don't realize what somebody else is going through. I had a false perception in my mind, you know, and I just let him know. And he's a big supporter of what we do. Timbo Slice, you've seen his name, you know, and a lot of the chats. Just to be able to do that, lay it down, like I said, bring those kids out to a show because of what they're going through or what they've been through. Let's just give them a little entertainment and escapism for a second, you know, something larger than life where they, at that age, they can't even comprehend where they've been in foster systems and all that kind of shit, man. Let's give them some show instead of whatever our own ego is at that point. Ben Hamin and Congo Kong, if you're a little kid and you even see us, yeah, I'd think back when I saw Andre when I was 8 years old. Life changed forever. Forever. You know,
I'm thinking about that kid, man. Imagine that. A fucking kid that doesn't even know what bed they're going to sleep in one night to the next. Essentially fucking homeless. Like, what do I have? Maybe 2 or 3 things that they fucking own.
Yep.
I mean, dude, that gets me. And they're coming to a wrestling show, and you're not saying you're going to, but not every fucking one of the boys and girls are going to come out there and make it as special as possible.
And I told him too, I go, dude, if you need me to cut a promo, not like a promo on the kid, but like if he's going through tough times, I'm like, let me know. Happy to do that, you know, as far as if that's all the kids for something for a year, by Jesus, how hard is that to do for 60 seconds? And how hard is it to go up to somebody in the locker room who you could have made their day, who comes up to you and says, hey, Mr. Punk, thanks for coming to do the show, man. And you look them up and down, scoff and walk away. Could put his face through a wall right now. I could put his face through a fucking wall. Gets me hot, dude.
Well, you almost made me cry with the kid story, but that made me mad. So now I'm balanced.
Back to 440.
That shit gets to me, man. All that shit around gets to me. And the kid stuff, those fucking kids are as much as like animals. Like they can't fucking fend for them. It's our job as adults and our job maybe not as role models, but just as an example to show them how the fucking future might look for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just to create the dream. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
Or create the nightmare. Randy Orton reveals how close he was to actually leaving WWE before re-signing. Orton made a lot of noise in months leading up to the signing of a brand new long-term contract with WWE this past week, dropping hints left and right that he might be bound for All Elite Wrestling once his previous deal expired in 2020. The Viper sat down with Corey Graves this week on New Edition after the Bell podcast to discuss, among other things, his contract situation, how close he really was to actually leaving the company. As expected, Orton pretty much confirmed that he had no plans on leaving and says he's very happy in his current position with WWE. This might be exciting for some people, but I never really saw myself leaving WWE. I started here. My father was here. My grandfather wrestled for Vince's father. You know what I mean? There's a lot of history. I could have left and I could have come back, but why? I've made it here this long and I really shouldn't have. Against all odds, I'm still here, and Vince and I were able to come to terms. Like I said, I'm happy. To me, it was about getting to a point where I'm happy in what I'm doing to my body, the amount of time that I've gone from my family. And in the end, it's all got to be worth it. That's where I'm at right now. So I'm definitely happy being a WWE superstar. Probably the smartest and most overworker in the game.
What do you, well, we can recap the Twitter exchange between him and Tony Khan, because
and this ties into Punk, because even on Russo, when we tried to talk about it, kind of got glossed over because it was so hot button trying to all get our shit in. But in that original tweet, it was Punk tagging Tony Khan out of nowhere. Like, you had all these WWE people and at Tony Khan. So when Khan came back about the Saudi thing, it wasn't Khan out of nowhere just trying to get his shit in, which I kind of fucked up. And I think a lot of people did out of the gate. They didn't see that it was Punk dropping the pebble in the pond. So then the story, let me see if I got it up here. Sorry, I might have skipped over it. But rumor is that it was Vince backstage with Orton taking those shots, directing to take those shots at Khan through Orton's account. So, after the Saudi shit got stooged off, so Vince probably like, yeah, let's fucking get him. So backstage at Raw, 20 minutes before Orton's got to go out and do his segment, they're getting in Twitter battles. Boy, wouldn't some people in high positions like to hear that? So he fires back, at Khan, saying people in glass houses shouldn't throw stones, and shows a link of Khan's father being investigated for that Arab money coming in, from who knows where. And then Khan hits back saying, well, with the leverage shot, and they're saying next time you want to use me for leverage or what have you, saying that's how he angled to get more money out of Vince, saying he'd go to AEW. And then Orton comes back over the top and says, if I, want to do business, I just call your dad or what have you. And then it hashtags him Jacksonville Dixie. And just like, it's the finisher. Meanwhile, much like Renee Young, Brandy tries to come in and says, that's it. And tries to get Sundom. And then Orton goes, nah, that ain't it. And comes back over and RKOs everybody out of nowhere and shuts the whole fucking party down for the little kids trying to have fun. So there was that hot exchange is all going on 20 minutes before Orton has to go out and cut his little Viper promo and do his bit to make, I think, $57,000 a week is what he's making.
Nice. Hey, by the way, and Tony Khan too, you can't have it both ways. You can't turn around and call a guy out because he called him out for the Twitch thing that you told me about with the game.
He drops the N-bomb thing in there too.
Well, guess what? Then you were negotiating to sign somebody who did that.
Yeah. And you're just, and the other Tony Khan thing was Mark Madden got on him at Shivani's birthday roast, called him a money mark and asked him how many more executive vice presidents he was going to hire. Khan gets up, sells for it, and walks out in front of all the biggest sharks, scumbags, like all the guys who are angling for fucking jobs. you just showed how weak you are because Madden's there, Bischoff's there. I mean, everybody, Conrad, I'm sure they were all there, dude, right? And this, and like, it gets a pop at your expense. That's a roast. But you show you can't even handle that because the elite got you so gassed up thinking you're at the cool kids table. Meanwhile, you're no more than you're not on the baseball team. You're in the AV club and your daddy's money, right? That's what it is.
Two interesting things there. Well, there's a few things. The first thing would be, do you think you said, oh, let's see weakness, and it'll be like whatever, they're sharks. Do you think a Bischoff or somebody sees the opportunity now to work him even further? Because if he can be so like that, and also this would have been interesting if Cody and the Bucks and Omega were there sitting right next to him, their reaction, because Madden would have went in hard at them too.
Yeah, dude.
If they got up and walked out,
dude, you're getting me fired up right now. Sorry, I just thinking of another walkout in OVW that Cody, Punk, and somebody else did on Brian Jack. Remember when he got hot on the show about that? He doesn't really go into it. Like he was doing at the end of every go home. Somebody gets up and takes it home with like a little inspirational thing just to get the boys up or whatever, or a joke or pop Al or whatever. So it's not just notes and then, all right, see you guys, and, good morale booster. And it was BJ's time, and BJ's crazy. But he, right in the beginning, dude, I'll never forget it. It scarred BJ for life. The team over all stood up and fucking walked out during his go home, dude.
So they're guilty of doing the same exact stuff that they're mad at Hunter and Vince and all the people playing those games. So
yep.
And one of them's running a company right now and kind of repeating the Triple H formula.
While saying he's anything but smashing chairs, cymbals. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm off my game. I'm befuddled.
No, don't be.
I'm having like just 10-year flashbacks of like stuff that's unresolved because I didn't have the juice to do it then. Not that I have the juice now, but now I'm at don't give a fuck phase. What else are they going to do to me?
We all do. I can give you about 1,000 different instances where I came off like a pussy. I didn't say anything. I kept my mouth shut. Did I keep my job another day? Yeah. Did I lose a lot of fucking of my own self-esteem? Yeah, a lot more. I didn't lose my dignity or integrity, but I sure as hell got bullied around and talked to like shit by people like that I could probably fucking outwork, out-talk, do all that stuff if giving the machine to behind me while listening to someone tell me that there's no machine and no push, that you make your own, meaning you're not trying hard enough. And I dare anybody, I'm not going to sound like Papadon, and I don't mean that, but he has a point too. You go back and watch the tons of matches I even had with Punk on ECW. You watch those matches. Are you frozen? Oh,
no, I'm just listening.
You watch those matches, and outside of the way that he was presented and I was presented, did it look like we were on uneven ground?
No, you look like the star.
I'm not saying even that, but the machine pushing him as the star is what made the difference.
No. Like if I'm the look side by side, definitely, but like, and the credibility, but you're going to be the under guy and you're going to be the feeder.
But that's the thing. And coming back, and I'll give you an example. You want to talk about it the way it works? You come back the gorilla. You work your ass off. You have a great match. It takes two. And no matter who it was that I worked, and I'm not talking about having heat. I'm talking about just in general, the way I was thought of. Think back to Chris Masters, Arn Anderson. Don't worry, it's only Stevie. My fucking nose shattered under my face. Walk back to Gorilla after having each and every one of these matches, and to have Vince stand up and putting his arm around Punk and people congratulating Punk, and I'm literally standing off to the side, and I get the look like not even a nod. Just, what are you still doing here? That's professional wrestling.
Yep.
Now that's where the false positive that I talked about, where if he walks through a locker room and now nobody, like, he would need somebody like you who's considered back then to be a nobody to jack him up on the wall. What is he going to do? what are you doing? You're not feeding and bumping for me. What are you doing? What are you doing to me? Right?
Hey, lighten up, brother.
Yeah, but that could have changed him forever.
Yeah.
And I'm daring anybody that's listening to this, it's in an indie locker room, that you see somebody that's going rogue like that. It's your job to set them straight often and early.
Yeah. But it was too late by that time. And where I was as a man, I could have, but where I was politically, that would have been it for me year 3 in the business.
Oh, I'm not saying you should have done it, because I haven't done anything either. I'm telling you, there's been plenty of times where when Arn Anderson or somebody said something like that, I would have been within my rights as a man to go in on them.
It's even more exposing things, like in the Tony Atlas, when all that went down, and he goes, maybe you haven't heard about my show, referring to ECW as his show. And like, you could just feel the air come out of the room. Like, this is just in front of the boys and shit. You're like, what the fuck, bro? And just like, okay. And I just looked real quick. I was like, there's nobody here. Is Nova here? I was just waiting to what real ECW guy we have, or not one was in the fucking house that day. I was like, fuck. Missed opportunity there. And there's 2 or 3 other things.
Who do you think would have won that fight?
Tony Atlas versus Punk.
Oh shit!
He would have unscrewed his fucking head like a light bulb.
That's the war veteran on the bus beating the shit out of the young kid, like boxing the fuck out of him. He
would have knocked him the fuck out and then took his shoes off and smelled his feet while he laid there.
He would have took the tape off and wrapped his own wrist. Oh, this isn't so bad.
We don't need all that tape on your wrist. We don't need all that. When I was coming up, I wrote down here, everybody cool, but there was one guy, complete asshole.
Well, here's the thing. Tony might have been ribbing. Like, we didn't need that tape back in my time. And if he just laughed and like shrugged his shoulders, it wouldn't even have been a thing.
Atlas was hot, bro. Like, just to see him fucking like he was talking around. Like, this is how Tony Atlas puts his heat on. Vince McMahon told me coming down here and watch all y'all. Y'all did great. He's like, yeah, y'all were working hard out there, supporting each other, taking care of each other. And everybody in the back was cool. Almost everybody except for one person who I talked to, but they didn't listen. And he's staring right at him. And Punk goes, well, you're obviously talking about me. You got something to say? He goes, yeah, I got something to say. He goes, Vince McMahon sent me down here. He goes, I could be home in Maine right now shooting rabbits and bears trying to eat my cabbages and get my garbage. But instead, I got to come down here to see your motherfucking ass. And he goes, I told you about all that wrist tape. We didn't need that wrist tape in my day. And Punk goes, well, maybe you don't understand or you haven't heard about my show. And he goes, I don't give a fuck about your motherfucking show. He goes, Vince McMahon told me to come here and write this report. He goes, and I thought I wrote down everybody here real cool, except for one guy as a complete fucking asshole. Fucking jotted on the line there. I was like, stuck the landing. And Punk goes, yeah, well, whatever, man. That's how your opinion. What? Gets up and fucking leaves. He goes, yeah, that is my opinion. He goes, y'all have a good night, man. Keep working hard. I was just like, fuck, this is awesome. I can't wait to work Tony Atlas in March just to bring it up to him in the locker room again. I'd like to get his whole opinion on it 10 years later, bro. Do you think he's still a complete fucking asshole? Hell yeah.
And we got more press releases. Did anybody get quoted as saying anything?
Jim Cornette resigns after comments spark outrage.
Oh, it's getting better now.
This is your favorite locker room? Yeah. National Wrestling Alliance has issued the following statement effective immediately. Jim Cornette has resigned from the National Wrestling Alliance as an announcer. There's an NWA joke in here that no one's touched on yet. I'm trying to craft it perfectly. But as an announcer,
rap group,
yeah,
is going
double entendre of NWA, right? As an announcer of the November 19th edition of NWA Power, Jim made remarks during a singles match between Nick Ellis and Trevor Murdoch. They were both offensive and do not meet the high standards of the decency of the faith of the National Wrestling Alliance. However, they may meet the standards of the NWA, which is weird to me. To ensure such an error can never happen again, we've established the new procedures for review for all NWA programming going forward. David Bixon and Ryan Satin will scrub through all of our audio to make sure that nothing is SJW unfriendly. No, I added that part. Well, we sincerely regret our failure in this regard and still identify as a wrestling company.
Whose quote is that again?
That's just a statement from NWA.
They identify as a wrestling company.
No,
I
added that.
Okay. I was gonna say, if you really wrote that, my God, man.
No, I identify. NWA champ Nick Aldis addresses Jim Cornette's inappropriate remarks. The champ has responded during a show's opening match between Aldis and veteran Trevor Murdoch. Cornette referred to Murdoch as the only man I've ever known that can strap a bucket of fried chicken to his back and ride a motor scooter through Ethiopia. NWA Power is a pre-tape show, which means, and here's the other part of it too that's not funny, not funny. NWA Power with 3 R's, where you're going to like talk about the word that he's saying and it's all about the R at the end that way. Plus you have 3 R's, which what other organization has 3 letters in it, Stevie, that people don't really like that are the same letter?
Oh, I get it.
Which means comments made in the past, the entire production process of putting together these episodes, fans were understandably upset and voiced their frustration over the incident on social media, forcing the promotion to temporarily take down the episode from YouTube to edit the segment. Aldis wrote the following on Twitter: "This is no way speaking on behalf of the NWA. I'm absolutely just speaking for myself. I thought the comment was in poor taste and unnecessary. I totally understand why it caused many to be upset. It was a lack of judgment or sensitivity. I've worked really hard, along with many others on this team, to make this brand mean something again, and that is not how I want the NWA to be trending." Dude, Magnus Nick Aldis, the exact opposite, in my opinion, of everything else I shot on earlier. A true man, a true gentleman, someone who can take being fucked over by the biz for whatever reason that we still don't know why he's not in the world champ picture in WWE, turn a negative into a positive, know his value, and relaunch a brand with a vision and accomplish it, and now has to be undermined once again by the bullshit of wrestling, SJW, cancel culture, while he's trying to restore faith in a brand. And his response, totally that of someone who you have to respect automatically, knows how to handle a situation properly, even, you know, in the face of adversity of his own baby right here. So that's not me suckholing to get a spot at NWA. That's just me saying, as frustrated as I am at one side of this business with putting people up on high for all the wrong reasons of their character wise, here's a guy that exemplifies what I consider you to be as well, you know, on that side of the other side of the coin, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I agree with you about Nick. I mean, I remember in TNA, he would just come off doing the American Gladiators version in Britain, I think. Mm-hmm. So he has a legitimate TV background, which is a mystery of why he's not in WWE, even more of a mystery out of anything else. He has experience now. He still has a build. He can talk. All the things that people could have said.
His wife is there. Could easily be.
Yeah, because even if they wanted to come and try to split them up, at least get them in there so they can work. Right. But, you know, they won't. But you know what I mean? Like if they want to try their tricks.
You know why not? Do you know why not?
No, I have no clue. I have no clue. You know, the stink of TNA has been way off him for 5 years or more.
That's just somebody you're walking by and somebody's got a bag, you know, hey, here's $1 million. You want it? Nah, dude, I'm good. I'll see you later. Oh, okay. All right, thanks.
Maybe because he can't do the push dives or the superplex Falcon Arrow, or maybe he sold a buckle bomb once and they're hot about it. I don't know. But Nick is definitely a really, really good guy, and he's somebody. I mean, I watched the Power thing because he was on it, not because he's NWA champion, because I wanted to see how he improved. I wanted to see his match. I liked what I saw a lot. And I saw some of his promos, and I liked those a lot. You know, I like what he's trying to do to bring I like what Nick's doing because he has the suit, he has the belt, he has the girl by him, at least he did when I was watching it. He has all these things, but he's not taking like the debauchery angle that Flair does, or the overspending or the lavish. It's show don't tell in a way, but he's not saying, I'm living like a complete idiot, like most athletes and like Flair did and all that stuff. He's carrying it with pride. Do you see what I mean? He's given it its respect by dressing up in a suit, by having all these
he feels like, as much as I hate the royal family, and he's not doing, I'm royalty, bow before me. He feels like what a true royal prince should be acting like, surrounded by a beautiful woman who's got integrity and can drink champagne. You know what I mean? Yeah, is of age. and he's walking around not flaunting it, saying, you'll kiss my ring, but like, yes, this is the professional level that we'd like to have our society at. And that's it. Like, there's no more needed, you know. The suits, the 3-piece suits, they just tell the respect story. Like, instantly you kind of have to respect him. He's not putting over, and I'm wearing Ralph Lauren head to toe. Like, not that, you know what I mean?
Let's stick on this for a little bit, because we had a conspiracy theory last night about the whole deal.
So yeah, that's why I was waiting on that. So there's, and from the chat room, I'll come back to that real quick. But from the chat room, somebody made a point of, let's just talk about the line first. You know, you got a bucket full of chicken, boom, you're racist. Doesn't matter where we're going. We're like, ears are up. Chicken and watermelon, ears are up. You want to throw Kool-Aid and grape drink in there too? You know, here it comes from Corny. Oh boy. And then boom, where is it? The punchline, riding a motor scooter through Ethiopia. Okay, there it is. So the visual that he's putting behind it is black people love chicken, and they will chase a white man to kill him in Ethiopia as he's doing 35 miles an hour just out of speed on a motor scooter, as I break down the joke for its racist intentions. However,
let's not forget too that you're making fun of starving children in Ethiopia.
yeah, as well.
You know what I mean? That's pretty fucking mean.
That's a fucking great joke, roast joke. I'm not gonna not this. It's like, dude, wrestling is racist, but in this SJW time, they want whatever. But somebody in our chat room said, whatever X Butcher says, what if it was a box of pizza in Italy? Would people be as hot? So there's an interesting question, because it's, can't say anything about black, Colin Kaepernick, Black Lives Matter, super hot button. He's from the South, so racist. Okay, that aside, we pose this because we're the conspiracy horsemen, and we look at timelines and we look at things differently and somewhat unemotionally when we're not talking about scars from our past in the locker room. This was precursored by a drop of a video last week where Cornette is given a seminar a decade ago and drops 4 N-bombs. The first one kind of pops the boys where he said it, and then he comes back to it because he knows he's comfortable in it, right? And he is a carny Southern scumbag who, this is what we do. That's what they do, man. So getting caught. But the fact that video came out was strike 2 on the heels of last month, where somebody gets into it with a Twitter battle and their friend at a show, and he tells them to go hang themselves, which is how Rip would be, or how any of them. If you take it literally, you're stupid. But you know, again, cancel culture fueled by whatever heat that, you know, he has with OVE or whatever, brought them in the forefront and made Billy look bad, and they had to do an apology or whatever based off of that. We don't condone that, or and going forward, we won't have those mistakes, won't be made going forward. And then this video drops 4 or 5 days before this comes out. Now this never should have made it, because it's not like they recorded it live and not even a week before. This show was recorded back in September. So the conspiracy is Cornette, who is nostalgia, who is NWA, who had everybody like, oh, it feels like it did back then because he's whatever, also is smart and doesn't like stooges, who may be in the office in a higher executive position. And that person also may have issue with him. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. But the timeline of leaving that in there, of leaving that racial joke in there, is strike 3. Now, the way that video came out beforehand to be strike 2, and knowing that was there to cut somebody's throat, we talk about throat cutting all the time. This really feels like a setup to me the more that I look at it. And why? Because that person wouldn't want to give up their job to Jim Cornette, and they know they got him.
Yeah, I agree. And Cornette doesn't hide his feelings or his opinion about anything. And in a way, at his point in his career and his life right now, there can't be a filter. He's not going to change. So when you hire him, you're going to get that pattern of he's going to want to help. He cares about the NWA. He cares about tradition. He sees some positives, but also he'll see the negatives. And he would tell this person right to their face that they're a stooge. He would tell them right to their face they don't know what the fuck they're talking about or whatever. He'd say whatever they needed to. Person would probably be like, okay, kind of be quiet, but pick the spot. Now, the thing that makes it even more, the timeline's very interesting because this thing that happened on the TV that aired on YouTube was after the clip from decades ago, right? That was like back in the 80s, wasn't it, or something?
That promo of him dropping N-bombs, you mean?
Yeah.
I thought that was only like 10 years ago. I could be wrong.
He's reminiscent about something like old.
Oh,
old
yeah.
school.
He's reminiscent about something Memphis era.
10 years ago that he said it. So
right.
Here's the thing with that. So that gets dropped with you knowing that the other commentary is coming through. Do you see what I mean? If they're in any way connected, like you drop that knowing that just a few days later, the episode already canned for 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever.
Right. And to leave that in there, knowing that that's coming is a calculated wrestling throat cut move. And as we say, there are no coincidences and conspiracies. Why would you hurt? Like somebody felt threatened enough that they would hurt the NWA product by leaving that in there. And then that clip being released conveniently as a strike 2, because you knew strike 3, you set up and left it in there because he was coming for your gig possibly or undermining. And that's how it is now. Okay, you made that move, or maybe you didn't, and it is just coincidence. But if you did, then you just hurt the NWA product because you were scared of losing your spot and you wanted to get rid of Jim Cornette. And will that be exposed at the next level of hypocrisy? Because if that really is it, Jim Cornette is probably sitting on a pipe bomb promo of himself, ready to drop some names.
And he's been absolutely silent.
Right? So he might.
That's weird.
Yeah.
He's waiting to see who it was. Maybe he has his ideas, but he'll find out. Hey, you know what? We should say too, because he's treated too on high, as you say. Billy is not like innocent in all this. You're not watching your own fucking show before it goes out.
Yeah,
like, I thought you were hands on, man.
Yeah, how is that possible, dude? Or was it taken out of what Billy watched and then put back in?
A lot of things need to be put in discovery, man. Need to be found out.
There's a lot. Yeah,
and if for people that say none of this could have happened, then you haven't been in the business, because in this thing here, you spend, if you did this, the if, which we think is like more solid than an if you did this, you're spending time trying to do this rather than trying to make the show better, which is basically everybody who's in power in wrestling is playing their fucking games instead of just trying to make the show good. You don't believe me? Watch every Friday and Monday. That has nothing to do with making the show good.
Nothing.
If that's their best effort, then they need to be fired anyway for whatever reason.
And they need to stay 90 miles away from the arena for 90 days.
Yeah. Do you agree with the fact that this, there's too much smoke not to be fire right now?
Well, I think the big thing is let's look at that one account who put out that video from 10 years ago. And I'm not here to go to bat for Cornette for his job, but to uncover conspiracies, because that's what we do, and say, who is that? Where'd that come from? And is there 1 or 2 degrees of separation from upper management in the NWA office? Because that could be this needs to go. If that's strike 2 based off of the other one, and they knew that was coming, right? If that's strike 2, then that's a calculated move of disinformation where that has to be put out there through a source that can't be linked back within 1 or 2 degrees of separation. If you're really playing let's cut some throats and disinformation at a high level, perception to be reality, right? Then if you can uncover that where there may be a link there, that would be interesting to me, because that's the piece that was put out perfectly timed for strike 3 to drop with that commentary in there, where there's no excuse for that getting through quality control.
let's address the other thing too that somebody might be saying, and we're not going to defend him just because he's our friend and co-host, but for people that say, well, Vince Russo might have put somebody up to release this footage. First of all, he could have done a lot more, a lot sooner, like with Cornette. You know, they've been going on this thing for 20, 30 years now, or however long. But at the same time, Russo has no control over the NWA taping and the airing and all that other piece of the puzzle. And those are very, very coincidental. And I don't believe in coincidences. If that's like the Russo to like tell somebody, hey, put this on Twitter, and then 2, 3, 4 days later, this thing's left in from weeks ago, he doesn't have that power or influence.
No.
Billy won't even talk to him or call him back. You know, as a friend, he hasn't even contacted him. He's talked about that on the show. So I'm just saying, like, I just thought of that just a second ago. Like, if people think that Vince is kind of trying to play this game of doing this stuff, Vince doesn't even want to get on the internet when he's not recording the show.
No.
So,
He had, this is not even in Vince's purview because I broke this on the Raw SmackDown review of that. Remember when we?
Oh, that's true, dude. They all run together. Sorry.
I know. Totally. I forgot until I just had to bring it up when you sparked it. Man.
He didn't even believe it, did he? He thought it was like some kind of parody thing, right?
No. Yeah, he thought it was too, for sure. And it just it really hasn't even been, and I mean, we're the first, but even looked at as a setup yet. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm anxious to fight. Not anxious, but I'm interested to see what Cornette's response is going to be. And if there is no response, is that because Billy did call him and said, you're going quietly in the night, we'll pay you the rest of what it is. Just shut the fuck up. David Arquette gets taken to promo school on WWE Backstage. CM Punk and others grade his attempt. You can check that out. He went head-to-head with Booker T. But CM Punk probably rated it as an F-, as well as Booker T's heated response to the promo video below. So I don't know if he just sucked badly or not. Let me see how long this clip is. 10 minutes and 23 seconds. Fuck that. So there's probably a lot that he does beforehand. Let me see if I can scrub through and find it. It looks long, but we'll see how long we can hang in here.
Live, right? No, you should get
This
that
is live, right?
because I was the champion before you. That's right. Who's first? And you know, I've been on all the screams, and I can make you scream too.
Yeah.
Or maybe I should wait to hold that for your wife. Wait. No, I'm sorry.
I tapped out. I can't do it. I can't take this fake world star shit. White people doing world stars. World star.
Yo.
Yeah, Booker.
My head feels like a yo after all this stupid shit.
yo. Odele.
Damn
You can
it,
go
man.
to,
What the fuck is wrong with people?
dude. It's bad, bro.
This is an actor that's made a lot of money. He produces and directs movies. This is a guy who has to motivate you to get in the character.
Yep.
I'm sorry, David Arquette. I mean, I've met you before. I think I like you, but you need to fucking learn how to cut a promo. This is brutal. That made Ready to Rumble look like fucking Shakespeare.
Well, he probably had to do about 10 takes and Ready to Rumble a couple times. Yeah, man, I'd like to beat the shit out of David Arquette on the indies. Ember Moon confirmed serious injury on WWE Backstage. Ember Moon appeared as a guest panelist tonight. She said she suffered a torn Achilles that will keep her out of the ring till 2020. Those torn ACHs, buddy.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. There is currently no timetable for a return. As Moon noted, the injury was serious, and she consulted 3 different doctors, and she was told she could be out 6 months, or it could be more than a year. So,
how did she tear it? Do you think she tore it doing that stunner off the top?
I gotta believe so. If you come
Did you
out,
land right on your heels on everything?
your heels every time, bro. Every time feels a little bit more. And if it wasn't done on that helped get it to the point of whatever Point Break was.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Poor kid. R-Truth is now 23-time WWE 24/7 champion. Michael the WWE court, and I'm not saying you, this is in quotes, Michael, the WWE corporate employee who shockingly won the title earlier today at a company-wide town hall meeting, was pinned during a meeting later in the day where WWE officials attempted to offer him a contract as an in-ring competitor. I don't know what's more surprising, that R-Truth has won a championship 23 times this year, or that apparently all it takes to pass the physical to become a WWE superstar is the ability to do 5 push-ups and 5 sit-ups. For those keeping track at home, R-Truth has now surpassed Crash Holly's record for the second most reigns with a single championship in WWE history. He will now set his sights at an all-time record, Raven's 27-time individual reign as hardcore champion.
Oh, stop. Fuck that. No.
In the copy, bro.
It's not happening. This is coming. This is a fucking nightmare that keeps coming. I'm texting him.
All right, here it is, right here, you guys. Hamin Media Group 130. Well, it'll probably be 122-ish in there. We need this. This is where you got to clip it out. That we've had this battle off camera.
I'm just kidding in a way. I don't need it. No. This was squashed in Boston. He can have it. That's fine. But I will say this:
that you did.
27 is no one ever won it 27 times. It was between 22 and 21 between me and him.
Yeah.
So Crash didn't even have it that many times. That's the weird part. Like, he had it less than that.
Have we gone into the WWE anthology book there and see if they have this wrong? Is like in print of what it is wrong?
I would go to, there's probably third-party sites that have covered it a lot more extensively, because WWE never counted the house shows. Like, they never counted them to begin with.
All
so
right.
The fact that
it's Mike Killam, you guys, from ProWrestling.com. We'll put this out there. So we need to get this right. I mean, Raven, it's been put to bed so Raven can be happy about it, but that's just to make sure that he's not upset. So what's the real truth there?
Fucking computer in an arcade cabinet. I gotta help run the group with you. I don't. my match at Wildcat speaks for itself. So I'd like Raven to have that.
Right on, man. But really, who is the most, you, Crash, or Raven?
Well, it looks like Michael from corporate is well. I like Michael made the smart decision, by the way. It worked out best because you know why? He has health benefits. He has a 401k. He has vacation and sick days. If you sign that contract, all that goes away.
That's it. That's where everyone in corporate is going to win the title, and they'll go through to offer him a performer's contract.
They're dropping more of the number of people that need to be in the pool for benefits, and they'll be like, sorry, we got to drop them.
Exactly. You're getting signed. Hey, bro, you're getting signed. Your dream's coming true. Sweet. Oh, all right. No more insurance. No more of that. Oh, fuck. How much of a raise did I get? You didn't. It's the same office money. I'm on the road for 60 grand. Yep. Okay. Okay. Awesome.
So I didn't even know this thing. I saw the show. I know it was on TV, and I can't remember anything about it.
Which show was that, bud?
The 24/7 title. I don't know which show.
Oh, I think they just did it online. I don't think it was on a show.
No, I'm talking about it was a spot on one of the shows they did. Not this, but in general, they had a 24/7 spot, right?
Oh yeah, they did have one, but I can't remember.
I mean, you don't remember it either.
No, no. There was I just remember him having a white shirt on this week. I can't remember what it said on it. Did you like my Jim Cornette shirt idea?
I loved it. I would send it to ACL and see what he thought. I had an idea last night. We were talking about that thing after the Horseman when we had the call.
Yeah,
dude, interview segments like that would just be unbelievable. In that studio thing we were talking about.
Yeah,
to have somebody like ACH on,
I think so too, man.
It's news.
Yeah, that would be huge. Like, where are you going to go to really say what's what? And I say let them shoot, because if it's going to be, well, if you're going to go live right afterwards with a reaction show, it's got to be live. So you got to be careful of, you got to have a 5-second delay for.
I think it's a tape show because it's 11 o'clock. I think you you have that show the next morning or something like that. If we were going to fly to a place, stay overnight, do the show in the morning,
Right.
fly back.
Or we go live at midnight. I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be too. I mean, how many people are going to stream it though?
True. Yeah.
And
I just think
I'm fucking sleep. I'll be sitting on the fucking chair like that.
I don't sleep now, dude, so it don't make no difference anymore. I'm slowly becoming him. Yeah, down to 1 hour, I'll be there. CM Punk helps boost major backstage viewership in a major way. Not really. So an estimated 180,000 viewers just debuted Punk as a series regular, up 80% from the week before that went down 270%. See how they do these numbers, kiddies? Oh, shit. Jericho's Rock and Rager at Sea adds several AEW stars. Pretty much the whole roster is going. So if you want to hang out with the AEW stars, it looks like they just announced Jake Hager. But I think Darby Allin's on there. Yeah. Santana and Ortiz. I'm sure the Bucks will be on there. You can see, all those heads. People who've gone said they had a good time. One dude said it was worth the money. One said it wasn't. And then in this week's go home edition of WWE NXT went off the air with that red hot NXT property, Seth Rollins and Tommaso Ciampa trading wild blows back and forth as seemingly dozens of superstars from all three companies and brands laid out around ringside. So as they pushed for war games and all this shit, I do not like this visual of Seth Rollins cuffing Tommaso Ciampa's head, full fucking cuff, and throwing phony hockey punches. This guy's hurt way too many people already, and Tommaso is way too fragile right now, in my opinion, dude.
Yeah. Hey, lean against the ropes. I'm going to do that knee. I'm really good at it.
Yeah, right?
Fuck, man.
Fuck, dude. And that's our copy, Stevie. I did the Raven one out of tune. I'm kind of glad I did because you sold hard for it. But this was definitely a lot of red hot news this week of people getting wrist slapped and returns and false positives and news we can't even talk about that's influencing our decision. And so everything's just moving at breakneck speed, and we're trying to keep both hands on the wheel right now, man.
I didn't know if my arcade cabinet came or just a riser.
I got the new this scared me. I'll get it real quick.
What you got there? Oh my God! Is your 3D printer up yet?
Yeah, no, Tornado E3 or E3D V6 Tornado hot end, pretty much the best one. But dude, when you see the wires with the stripped and shit, dude, I'm in for something way over my fucking head right now.
It's spliced and everything. You got to start tying stuff and capping it.
Yep.
So, man,
my other printer, I just need to get the gear aligned so it can pull the plastic through in the extruder. Because I got an upgraded extruder for that too. So it's just some fine tuning, and hopefully I can get that one up and running this week. But fuck, dude, this is going to be a project and a half. And I'm just it's just one bag of parts, but it's going to be some fine work, bro.
You make me never want to buy a 3D printer.
It's so worth it. It's so awesome though. Like when you go from a plastic spool of filament and you come back and what you want is just there.
Okay. I'm going to give you a little example of what's going on here. Nothing bad. Love my wife. As a matter of fact, I know she loves me because for the past 2 years, all I've done is say, oh, this room, I'm going to put a home gym in the second bedroom. Oh, cool. Oh, we have another rack coming. And then to her defense, she goes, put it out there.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, the sunroom, I got to put some cardio in there. Oh, by the way, there's, I got to put my podcast studio in the living room. Oh, by the way, we have an infrared sauna coming. Oh, by the way, we got to move the infrared sauna into the bedroom because we have more stuff coming. Oh, by the way, we have an arcade cabinet coming. But you know what, dude? I said it last night. I mean it. I'm very, very fortunate. But you don't like the word blessed, but I believe I'm blessed, and I'm really super fortunate because it doesn't, like the people we talked about earlier, the guy with the 2 kids, the guys and the guy with the disability is in the dressing room of Punk. You know, I don't look at these things, and I hate putting them up on social media because I want to be one of those people that like, look what I got, look at this, look at that. The way I come from it is a learning experience. And of course, I don't pay for a lot of the stuff because I review it. But I also spent a good 10 years reviewing stuff before I was getting the momentum to get the stuff.
Exactly.
So I don't live, I live very frugally. I live within my means. I don't buy stuff. Usually I try to every other way I can figure it out to have a collaboration to get the stuff and then do it. But I'm really, really careful with the money. And I know the money I made in wrestling has to last as long as possible. And I realize that everybody's just one bad thing away from being in a really, really bad spot. And I don't want to put my wife and my family through that.
Sure.
I know I went a little deep on that, but
No, that's
I just want
a
to
lot of
saying
people
all
are
this
feeling
stuff.
that. I mean, that's the whole egg crack of life, isn't it? Of where you're trying to get ahead, but you don't want to be like, oh, look at me and I'm shining. But at the same time, one fucking Johnny sweep the legs. That's all it takes. And you're fucking back down at zero again, man. That's the scary proposition of life.
I want to remind
we
everybody.
don't have a couple kids, you know, like at the same time mixed into that. A lot of people do.
I just want to, you know, because I realized what it was like. By the way, we both realized what it was like to not make money in this business, to have to like pay to learn how to wrestle and have to pay to go to shows, sleep in your car, beg to work for free and get turned down 99% of the time. But dude, it's just a little story time, I guess. When I hurt my neck and I needed surgery and then my vocal cords were cut, and this was all within, like, my wrestling career was over. I'm sitting in a fucking neck brace in a chair because I couldn't afford a hospital bed that came up or down. So I needed to sit in a chair for 2 weeks and try to sleep.
Mhm.
I played a lot of Madden. That's like, but I'm walking, you know, I remember walking to the fucking supermarket that was a block away with a cane because of my hip. They grafted the hip bone into the neck. So I'm walking with a fucking cane. I have no job. I have no money. And I'm literally fucking, it's that story. I put food on the fucking, the belt with the cashier, and I didn't have enough money to eat. And I had to fucking take things off and then fucking stipend or ration myself with cereal in order to fucking stretch it out to whenever. I didn't even know where my next dollar was coming. I had some money saved up from WCW, but I had to pay rent bills, medical bills, all that stuff. And that's when I went back to school for computers. That's when I fucking got trained and tried to, like, I was going to live a normal life, do all that stuff and everything. That's the kind of stuff that people are going through that I realize. And when I look at somebody who's doing that shit, that has a walker, is having trouble with some, even if they're a dick to me for wanting to help, there are people going through that kind of stuff. Now, did anybody help me when I was walking and I fell on the fucking ice with a walker? And no, they walked right by me, dude. You know what I mean? Not that not that I'm looking like, oh, I fucking hate people now, but
Right.
I'm just saying it's kind of a deeper dive into what we were talking about earlier.
100%.
But that's the shit too that within pro wrestling is so fucking stupid, because guess what? Nobody ever asked me that. Like, Russo would have asked me, what was it like? And you know what would have happened? There would have been a story that could have inspired somebody on TV, a real story that could have, and then you would have got some real heat on somebody for fucking trying to attack my neck or trying to do this or there's a whole bunch of stuff that can do the fucking business and the world good, knowing things like that about people.
That's the human connection and the condition, not just building a superstar. You want to build that relationship, that relatability that's going to give somebody the hope to feed on. And that's what these carnies dangle in front of the workers, of hope of a job. But I'm not talking about hope of a job. I'm just saying relatability, hope in life to make it through the next day, man. And what a powerful image, story, and visual that is. If you can't feel the emotion of when somebody's at that from the peak of where he was, and the realization that celebrity really isn't shit, and that it's all fucking smoke and mirrors, and that what it really takes to gut it out to make it through life day to day, and to not appreciate that and still call yourself the best in the world sometimes, it's tough for other people to swallow. We totally get it and appreciate you guys being here at the Friday Locker Room. It was a hot, shooty show with some real truth, maybe even more truth on this show than we got in the Conspiracy Horseman this week, you guys, because it's all about the grind out here, and we're going to see where it takes us next, who's going to rise, who's going to fall, and what control we might have in the future, infidels. But that's all kayfabed here on your Friday Locker Room. Big Stevie Cool, Hacker Hamin. YOLO.